All right, there we go. It's one of those mornings. I'm hot, so I'll just start it again. The title of this video is Entrepreneurism is the Cure for Racism. While starting a business may save your life. Over the years, I've had many people attempt to invalidate my experiences. I should say, if you are a person who feels that no matter how hard you work, regardless of what you do, that you can't change the status quo. If you're rooted in victimhood, then you probably don't want to watch this video. Also, any of these victimhood type comments will be deleted. I have a conversation going on my Facebook page right now that is just, it's one of those things. It's just one of those things, right? You got a lot of people who, for some reason, want to stay in a position of, what can I say? They don't want to progress. They don't want to be better. They want to stay in the same little static hole that they're in. So to have this conversation, I'm going to say something that many people will give pause. Having money will either eliminate the racism in your life or seriously reduce it. I'm going to give you two stories. I was driving home one night. I was driving a 1991 Honda Accord because it was too cheap to spend money on a new car. I just didn't want to drop that kind of bread. The speedometer didn't work. So I'm like pacing myself with other cars. I am in the right-hand lane. None of my registration, everything's straight, right? Well, a black cop, there's a reason I'm mentioning race. Instead of passing me because I wasn't speeding anything, he just gets behind me and runs my plate. Yes, I was racially profiled. Unbeknownst to me, there's a warrant for my arrest from Stone Mountain. I'll tell you why in a minute. So he pulls me out of my car, arrests me, put me in the car, and I'm in the back seat of the car, and I could see he had the option to arrest me. He had the option. He could have let me go and let me know there was a warrant for my arrest for failure to appear in the Stone Mountain City Courts. He had the option to arrest me and let me go. So I go to jail, I get my car impounded. I stay in jail. I have the money to bail myself out, but I had to pay the city of Stone Mountain because the city of Stone Mountain didn't trust the DeKalb County to collect the money and pay them later. So I called my partner who finds that's like, well, have someone go pay a cop. My partner finds him. He won't take the money. So I spend not 1, but 2 days in jail. I get out. Now, at this point, I still don't know why I'm in jail. I still don't know the charges. So my partner, City of Stone Mountain, opens up. She posts bail. Then they let me out. Oh, remember I had the money on me? Well, they gave me a check instead of my cash back. I went to the bank, and the bank didn't want to honor the check. So I had to go back there. They had to call to cut the funds loose. So 6 weeks later, we go to court, and it's a kangaroo court, y'all. I mean, it's the craziest thing. People are getting tickets and fines for parking on the right side of the street, but faced the wrong way. So they called me up. Judge like, so what are you here for, Mr. Cameron? I really don't know. Then code enforcement shows up. Little black dude. Once again, another black dude. And it's like, well, I'm here because Mr. Cameron did not renew his business license. And I'm like about to go off because we moved 2 years ago. Courtroom silent, judge looking, my partner's gripping my arm because I want to beat this. And it's just like, well, make sure the next time, make sure you're addressed. Charges dismissed. Black cop, black code enforcement. So many years later, unbeknownst to me again, my license is suspended. I'm coming home on Roswell Road. I had just bought a brand new BMW, paid cash for it. Didn't have no tag because the guy I bought it, he made sure he took the tag like I was going to do something nefarious with it. So with this, I'm in the brand new BMW. Chances of me getting stopped because I don't have a tag are pretty high. So I had all my stuff right there in the visor. So once I get pulled over, 740, tuned up, flying. Cop tells me, white female cop. She tells me, Mr. Cameron, your license is suspended. And you know what I say to her? No, it's not. I just drove for Uber. Actually went through all this stuff. It can't be. It must be a mistake. Not, yes, ma'am, no, sir. No, this is a mistake. Go back to your car and check it out. Goes back to her car. She gets a little deeper. She comes back. She's scratching her head. Your license has been renewed several times. This is clearly a clerical error. She had the option to arrest me. She had the option to impound my car. And she says, I'm not going to arrest you. I am not going to impound your car. Just go downtown and get this cleared up and get it dismissed and be careful. Which I did. Go down to court. And the solicitor's like, well, since the Department of Vehicle Administration didn't let you know your license was suspended, and this is very, very strange, I'm dropping the case and everything went away. Now, what had changed in my life for these two events? With one, I should have been let go. And the second time, the appropriate thing happened. I changed my class. See, this was probably almost 6-7 years apart. But once again, I became richer. I became more sophisticated. And let me go ahead and put it to you why these things happen. I had this 1991 Honda Accord. No one really knew how much money I made. Dude thought I was just another black man. Had to be up to no good, so he's just going to arrest me to save the town, save the county from my worthless self. I was racially profiled by a black cop. I was racially profiled by a black code enforcement officer. But I was let go by a white cop. Because, see, when she ran my license, she saw that I lived in this neighborhood. She saw where I lived. She was like, well, he's not a bum. If he living over here, he got to be doing something. So the perception of the elevation of my class actually got me out of a situation where if I was still a regular black dude, more than likely, I would have been arrested. More than likely, my car would have been impounded. I have many people say, you just got lucky. I didn't get lucky. Luck had nothing to do with building the financial resources I have. Luck had nothing to do with that. People invalidate this because they don't know how to get out of the hole. They have no clue to what they need to do, what steps. So they submit to this position that there's nothing I can do. And then anyone that has an alternative view is like, well, you got lucky. Maybe it wasn't your day. No, it was. And this is something that's happened. Another experience. My ex-wife, we got in a fight, verbal fight. She's like, I'm going to call the police on you, black. I hand her the phone. I ain't do nothing to her. She calls the police 911. He hit me. Oh. This was doing the Rodney King thing. And I'm sitting there like, I don't believe you just called the police on me and I've done nothing to you. Cops come, blonde haired guy, dark haired guy. We lived in Marietta. They were walking around our home. But see, I'm in scrubs. I'm in scrubs with my Northside identity badge hanging off my scrubs because I just came home. Dude, nice home. Dude assumed that I was a resident or something. I often got that. Once again, class saved me. See, we got a lot of people who don't understand that it's not a racist thing. It's a class thing. Whenever I occupied a certain class, I had good things happen to me. Once I had a post office box in the wealthy neighborhood. I thought I would get different mail. Guess what? I got different mail. The mail that I got was amazing. Well, I was going to check my mailbox one day, and there was this white girl in her car, and there was this white dude standing outside the post office. As soon as I get out my car, the white girl gets out her car. And we get in the post office, and she says, "Oh, I'm so glad you showed up. This guy was scaring me." Once again, I was in the scrubs. Once again, I was clean cut shaven. She thought that even though I was, quote, a black man, that I was safer to be around than this grungy white dude. I got one more for y'all, because I got a lot of them, but we're going to get into the real talk. My last job, Maryland. Maryland was, and more likely still is, a racist. She gave me such a hard time. And I knew what it was. Racism exists. I'm not stupid. I'm not narrow-minded. Racism is very real. It exists. Well, when she saw that I could produce and I can get deals on my own, after I left that company, she sent me her resume. See, these are experiences that if you're not in a business owner chair, if you're not doing stuff, you're never going to experience this stuff. Working a job. You just, most jobs, you're not going to experience this. And it took me out my day because I was like, well, thanks for already hired someone. I called my boy up, Mario, another black business owner. And we just sat there and we was like, really? Because I had told him about Maryland. He said, she sent you that racist? Wow. We just sat there. We're blown away. So, in my 51 years on this planet, point after point after point, that if my class changes, what happens to me from a racist standpoint changes. But I'll have people who will say, hey, you black, there ain't nothing you can do. And I've asked this question. How many rich black athletes, entertainers have been shot by the police? Look it up. I'll save you some time. Not one. Until this Black Lives Matter stuff started and Michael Bennett from the Seattle Seahawks, and that whole situation's debatable. Didn't happen. Plexico Burris shot himself in New York, which means he had a gun on him, and the police took the gun from him, put him on a stretcher, sent him to the hospital. He didn't get shot. I'm about to say something that many people don't want to talk about. First of all, I will say Philandro Castile, family man, innocent man, he was shot by a racist murderer. Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, these were people living their life. They ain't doing anything wrong. They were gunned down. But everybody don't fit that narrative. We got people out there doing dirt and crime, but the community embraces and celebrates these people. It's like, yeah, you were breaking the law, but hey, you shouldn't have been treated like that. Newsflash. Poor white people, poor Asians, poor Hispanics are treated the same way by the police. Hispanic males are shot at a higher rate by the police than black males. But no one talks about it because that doesn't fit the narrative. Now, I'm saying all this is if you feel that getting money is not going to change your life, and it's not going to change the impact of racism on you, you are a slave to a narrative. No matter what I do, how I do it, they still going to be racist. Do you know when the black family was intact that the white incarceration rate in the 1960s was much higher than the black incarceration rate? And then from 1960s, then 1973, the black incarceration started to explode. What happened? They took the man out of the home. They took the black man out of the family home. See, when you start looking at these things, and you're just like, whoa, that is crazy. So it's not always been like this. I am not a member or follower of Black Lives Matter. I think it's a homosexual organization that is fighting for the rights of homosexuals, which is their right, which is cool, but they don't have nothing to do with trying to set things right for me. Not at all. If you feel that getting money is not going to change your life, you don't even need to be subscribed to this channel. Because I can tell you from experience, decade after decade after decade of having money in class, it has reduced the amount of racism that I've experienced. Not too long ago, I got pulled over by a white cop and I got a warning. I just, another day I was on Roswell Road and I saw police car lights pop up. I didn't get scared. And it was the car behind me they were pulling over. When you get money, it's going to eliminate racism or it's going to drastically reduce it. Because you have options where you live. You have options of what you drive. You have options where your kids go. It's just facts. But many people don't want to believe that because, and this is what's happening. And the reason I'm talking about this is I want all of y'all to live like I live. I want all of you to be that free. And if you're listening to this, because this conversation, this guy, he was just like, when I see that, construction sites is mostly white dude, I put up an article about that in my Disruptive Male group. Younger people just aren't going in construction. But see, when you look through everything through a racism prism, everything's racist, even when it's not. So I want you guys to be free. I want you guys to live where you want to live. I want you guys to be with who you want to be, because right now the polarization is so thick and everybody's separated, which means they're easier to control. I don't fall for it. I don't go for it. But getting money, starting the business is going to change your life in many ways. Starting the business saved my life, and not in the projector, not in the terms of that there was some white racist cop that was going to gun me down, but it saved my life because it gave me options. When I almost died with the booty call, it was a class thing. I never would have been able to date this chick if I wasn't making the bread I was making. She had this lovely home. I mean, she was paying like $1,800 a month. Back then, that was like 2007. That was a grip. Once again, every corner that I look, every little twist and turn is like, whoa, money, class, changed my life. Money, class. But you got people stuck on this race thing because maybe they don't know. Maybe they're scared. I don't know. But anytime I put up something on Facebook, I have people who want to invalidate my experiences based on their feelings, not based on any facts, not based upon, no, because I go toe to toe with you. And see, I come with you with facts. I come with you with websites. I come with annotations, and all they come to me with is their feelings. And I got really fed up because there was this dude, low-key hater. I knew he was a low-key hater. What's the saying? Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. And then he said something Matter of fact, I'm going to read it to you. I'm not going to show it to you because I ain't logged into that screen, but I'm going to read it to you because it is funny. Oh my God. This is some wild stuff that's going on in the world. Because essentially, it's like, I keep telling y'all white privilege is dead. Once upon a time, all she said would have worked. Right? So let's get into the comments if he didn't delete it. Rex, here we go. No response. After I gave my first TV interview, the white racist haters came out the woodwork. This is unlikely to have happened to Brett. White privilege is far from dead, although economic advantage helps a little bit, just a little bit, right? Here's my response. And I quote, although economic advantage helps just a little bit. Rex, I am surprised you're clearly as not as successful as you claim. Wealth has enabled me to escape my upbringing, live a wonderful life, travel the world. Last time a cop stopped me, I got a warning, live in a multi-million-dollar neighborhood, got a judge fired, had the police believe me in not one but two domestic 911 calls, got a child support case dismissed, built an international brand. If your wealth is not reducing the racist events of your life, you're clearly doing it wrong. Level up, bruh. Because he's a hater. He has not responded to that. Because if you're saying that money does not change how racism impacts your life, you don't have enough. You don't have enough. We've talked about that. Most of the folks in this country are not rich. 60-some% of the people in this country could not raise $1,000 cash in 30 days. You just got to get to 180 to 250. 180 to 250. That's where you got to get. And your life will change. Because see, one of the reasons that I keep some of these low-key haters around is there will come a day that I get to, and this was a day, because he has not responded. Let's see. Nope, he ain't responded to that one. Because he's been talking all this this yin-yang. He's been talking noise. Oh, I'm wealthy. Oh, I got more money than you. But no, you don't. Because if you're still talking that racist narrative, nah, you don't have enough money. You just don't. I want you guys to understand the next great lever of the division is going to be class. It's always been a divider, but it's going to be more pronounced because it used to be WASP, white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant. Now it's going to be, do you have money or you don't have money? There will be black people in the new class. There will be white people. There will be Asians. There will be Hispanics. Hispanics already got it like that in Brazil. The wealthier Brazilians don't want to hang out with the poor Brazilians. The wealthy Cubans don't want to hang out with the poor Cubans. It's already like that. So what's going to happen is everyone that gets on these serious levels, and then once again, 180K a year, 250, you're there. You're in that 9.99%. This is not insurmountable. I believe most people can get there if they work with the right information. See, I just woke up today in the mood. I'm just not having this because I got a few more low-key haters and they've been kind of calm, but I've been making moves. And I haven't been making like overt moves. You know, I move in silence most of the time. I've just been posting something here, something there, not even a lot. And once again, I've been through this before. I know exactly what starts it. I know exactly what brings them out. And I don't care because I'm going to live my life. But yeah, they start coming out. Had another one, white dude in Germany. He lost it. He lost it. You know what he said? Glendon thinks selling funnels and training changed. When have I ever sold a funnel? In what, 9 years? I've never sold a funnel. I don't even know where he came up with that. I was like, I don't sell funnels. Training. It's called Hustlers Kung Fu Life Skills. I have 2 educational platforms. That's what I have. That's what I do. It's just funny how people want to denigrate what you do because you're doing what you do better than them. And then he came out and he hit me up on the private chat, which I didn't respond. I just blocked him because he went from a low-key hater to an overt hater. And then this is where they start getting violent. It's like, hey, if we were face to face, you wouldn't be all that. Had one of them this year. And you know what it is? And I'm not even mad at them. These people are in pain. And what I do is shine a light, or I rub on that tender spot. This is why I say, do what you want to do in life. If you got a dream, chase it as hard as you can. Because it's going to come a day, you're going to be older, and you're going to look back, and either you're going to look back and smile, or you're going to look back and be despondent. Because it's coming. You live long enough, these moments are coming for each and every one of us. And now that I look back, I'm like, yeah, writing that book was the best thing I ever did. You know the story. My mother was sick. Family, family is supposed to be the best thing ever. From my experiences, a good family is the best thing ever. A dysfunctional family, you need to get as far away from them as possible because they will bring you down and they will keep you down. I've had the benefit of being part of really good families. I know what that looks like. I know what that tastes like. I know what that feels like. Just because you related by blood, that person may be the worst enemy in your life. But, going with this narrative, false narratives, best thing ever is family. No, the best thing ever is good family. The best thing ever is non-dysfunctional family. I'm going to tell you a little story. I know this woman. I used to work with her in the lab. And she got divorced. And she was making the same money I was. And she got child support from her husband. And I ran into her. And we were just talking. She looks good. And she was just telling me, I got a lot of people who have found the channel. And she was like, I saw your channel. She says, I watch a lot of your videos. They're very inspiring. I was like, really? Never reached out and things. She just watches. She may be watching now. And she's like, you know what I did with that child support money? I saved every penny of it and I invested it in the stock market. I worked extra time because we used to be Overtown hogs. And she's like, I did not want to be one of those women who was always talking about child support. She said, when I got that check, went straight into his accounts. And when his child support ended, he had almost $300,000 to start his life off. And I said, your father did that. I was like I was blown away. I was literally blown away. She used that child support money and invested it and worked and the thing is, she's got a little business now. I'm just sitting there like, and I say this because people downgrade the GC effect. I tell y'all the truth, whether you want to hear it or not, because here's another truth. Remember the Bitcoin prediction? I got everyone, Glendon wrong about Bitcoin. Glendon wrong about Bitcoin. Here's another prediction. Kids are back in school, right? This is how I made the first prediction. How does the price of Bitcoin go up? More people buy it, high demand. I was like, well, the summer, a lot of people don't have extra money. We'll see. If what I feel about Bitcoin is true, it's going to go down. It went down. Here's another prediction. Kids are back in school, which is freeing up money. If Bitcoin does not start exploding, it's going to crash even harder because there's now more money in the system and people are not using it to buy Bitcoin. Yeah, this sucker's going to crash. And there's a few people who are haters. I leave them as friends. So when Bitcoin crashes, I can go on their page and like, buy on the dip. You better get on the dip. At that moment, I have a feeling it's coming very soon. Just a feeling. So guys, you got to get that stuff out of your head, because they will come for you and they will try to knock you off your grind, and they will try to tell you that what you're doing ain't really that significant, even though they're not doing anything. And this right here is something that gets to me. People with no money, no economic resources, no dream, no passion, no directions, are trying to tell people with money what they should do with that money. This is why I don't have a problem with Michael Jordan not, quote, doing stuff for the black community. I believe Michael Jordan has done more for black men just by being Michael Jordan. A lot of people hate Barack Obama. He ain't doing enough for black people. Barack Obama was the president of the United States. Every time we have a black man that does well, it makes us all look better. But you got people who, once again, want someone else to do the heavy lifting while they get to ride on their coattails. It is very, very interesting. So with all this said, I had a lot of people in my inbox. All right, so what I've done, I still raised the price, because a lot of people, it's like, man, I just found your channel, man, fine. I made this decision based upon that conversation, because we need more entrepreneurs. We need more people making money. We need more people building. We need more black people hiring folks. We need more. So it's still 20 months, but instead of 150, it's 159. So the day is Tuesday. So we're going to see what happens between now and Friday, because if you know, I don't really get a lot of sales, I'm going to just pop it back up to 290. But, you know, once again, links below, and you can either, you know, because the difference between Hustle Undergrad and the Art of Holding Companies is half the price, but it's very, very serious stuff in there, and that price is going to go up. So the links are below if you want to participate. And within 24 hours, you'll be added. You'll be sent emails. I learned a lot. Thanks. The email system for the platform don't work, because I had a lot of people. And I was like, all right, these folks aren't crazy. So I sent it, and essentially, so the new methodology is, instead of sending it through the system, I just send it through you from a personal email. So everybody should be included. And that seemed to have stopped all of those emails. So we need more people who are trying to get into another class. We need more people who, and I'm not going to be dismissive of racism. Racism has caused me a lot of pain. Racism from other black folks, black cop, code enforcement agents, they were jealous. They didn't have to do what they did. They just did it because, and this is something else folks don't want to talk about, we have agents inside the community who are destructive, who hide within plain sight. That cop could have let me go. I saw it. I was like, compact, get a, informed person of a warrant. He had the option to arrest me, but he arrested me. Just like this white cop, white people, the cave folks, all these folks who are just so horrible. She had the option to arrest me, and she didn't. And she had a stronger case because my license was actually suspended. And I actually think that has something to do with my channel. I think that some female got caught up in her feelings and did something to my license. Yes, I believe that happened because it just makes no sense any other way. So, we need more people who are building, not complaining. We need more people with higher expectations, higher goals, not a bunch of low expectation Larrys. Because the guy, I saw his point, and see, we were having a conversation that was reasonable, and I just dropped some knowledge on him because many people my age don't think like I do. They are set, whereas I'm still malleable. I can change an opinion. I'm not set in my ways. But we definitely need more business owners. And this is another thing that I get from people, and I feel that this is something that we as black people, because I'm talking to my black people. I know there's white people, Asian people on this, but I'm talking to my black people here. You want to be free? There's a price for freedom. It ain't cheap if you want to be free. If you want to live how you want to live, you want to walk where you want to walk. And what I see in social media is every little thing is blown out of proportion. I know I was waiting because I'm Delta Priority. I was waiting in line, and there was this little lady, and she was just getting in front of me, and I don't know what was wrong with her. And I'm like, am I going to let this clown mess up my day? I could have pulled out my phone and exposed her, and what did that have done? I don't even know what happened to this chick. I was just like, turn around, start talking to someone else. We have people who are caught up in what I believe to be petty racism stuff. We have folks who treat all racists the same. Most racists are benign, meaning they have no power. All they do is think jacked up thoughts about black people. That's it. That's all they can do. Now, the racists of Donald Trump's ilk, yeah, you need to be concerned about him. He is a racist soldier. He creates policy. And for all of you folks who didn't vote because, well, Barack didn't do anything for us, the Democratic Party didn't do anything for us, Jeff Sessions is rolling back all of these laws, all of these draconian prison sentences, and guess who that's going to impact? You, Pookie and them. You, Mr. I don't vote. You're going to be the one impacted, not me. I ain't getting caught up in that. Nor anyone else with means and resources. But you, no resources, no goals, no business. It's going to be hard because what's going to happen? Because the thing is, Trump's going to get impeached. But the thing is, he did not have to stay in office the full 4 years to do what he did. It's going to take decades to roll back all the stuff that he's done. Decades that he did in 18 months. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. Sometimes I think he uses Manchurian Candidate 3.0. I mean, it's just, when you look at it, it just makes no sense. You definitely have to level up. You definitely got to level up, because if you feel that you're not cut out for business, I want you to go back to your great grandmother and your great grandfather who were beaten or killed for learning how to read. A lot of people up into the 60s were illiterate. Black and white used to sign their name with an X because they couldn't write and they couldn't read. This is why in the 60s and 70s a college degree was big stuff, because most of the country was illiterate. Yes, most of the country. This is where kindergarten came from. This is where these reading mobiles came from, because so many people were illiterate. And today that is coming back. We have kids who are graduating high school who cannot read. This is why they don't like to read. They can't read. Class changes that. So it is crazy. All right. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right. What's up, Dion King? What's up, Keeter? John Doe repping Florida. Keeter, it was funny because I was going to do this in my office, but I didn't really feel like going to my office. So I was like, I'm going to do this from home. And I didn't know if I had batteries. This is a long story, but we're good now. What's up, Stefan? Bro? Yeah, because a lot of people will fight me. And once again, I ain't having it. Any of those little weak comments like you can't do, and statistically, black people can't be racist. My response to that is, so you sitting there thinking jacked up, messed up thoughts about another person you don't know. That's cool. It ain't. It's just not. Pretty much, Ben. I don't need to know why they do it, Anthony. I know, Ben. And you know why I know this works? The United States of America had a policy to not allow people to immigrate from Asian countries before World War II. Look it up. One of the things, still to this day, a lot of people have to get visas to come here. They can't just, the American passport, the Japanese passport, and the British passports are the top 3 passports in the world. We can go anywhere without a visa for up to 90 days. Leave the country for a week, come back, and turn it into 6 months. Property solutions. I totally agree with you. My life has told me the same thing, but I find it hard to argue against the data of racial wealth inequity. I'm actually going to talk about that too. What's up, Hard Breakdown? True, I know, man. All right, so let's talk about the racial wealth inequity. 2,500 people own 70% of the world's resources. Let me say that again. 2,500 people own 70% of the world's resources. These are the billionaires. They own 70% of the world's resources. This is around the world. So we come to America. So this is where we live, and this is where these things matter. It is true that there are certain average white people who have more economic advantage. But let me tell you what's happening. Trump got elected for a reason. These people are not feeling as wealthy as their parents. They're struggling. So what's happening is that the baby boomer generation, their kids are not going to be able to live like them. And these are the white people. There's something that's just happened. I don't know. I don't really know what it is, but you're going to see that quote, race, the wealth gap is going to become more pronounced, but there's going to be a lot more white people left out the equation because of the changing world. Because it happened, but it ain't. Also, it's this. I hear stuff. The average white family has $110,000 worth of wealth. I would say that would be not true. And how would I know that's not true? The average white family, let's see, there's about 200 million of them. So that means that 100 million people have assets of $100,000. But based upon the charts that I put up here, remember, half of America couldn't come up with $1,000. Half. More for 2,000 cash money. So half is, because we have a population of 330 million. So half would be 170 million. But there's 200 million. You see what I'm saying? Once you start diving into the numbers, because whenever I see these channels talking about, quote, the wealth gap, I ask myself, what are people doing to get wealthy? I ask myself, that think these numbers are inflated, because knowing what I know about how many people make money, is simply not true. Now, let's be clear. There are a bunch of white people who have economic advantage. It's just not as many as people believe. I know, Ben. Definitely. So, going back to the Asians, they couldn't come here. Asians were treated very badly. And let's go ahead. Were Asians treated as bad as black folks? No, they weren't. But the Asians got out of that. Jewish people got out of that. And guess what other class of people is now getting out of that? Indians. Indians come over here are different. They're getting out of it. And Hispanics got, I think Hispanics have too many Pookie-nims up in their community, because they're not really, they're getting bigger from a population base, and there are certain businesses. But have you ever seen a Hispanic own a convenience store? There was one area where I used to see that. And then the Hispanics who own businesses are not Mexican. They are Brazilian. They're usually Cuban. So they're not really moving as well as the Indians. And they're definitely not moving as well as the Asians. The Asians are killing it across the world, not just here in America, literally across the world. Man, this is why I started putting all my vehicles in the business name, and that stuff just stopped. There was this corridor, Lawrenceville Highway, Memorial Drive, where I just get stopped all the time. I was being racially profiled. I put that van in the company name one day, and it just stopped. I was like, oh, this is how I beat this. Richie, only revolution is a financial one. Till them hoteps let that sink in, it ain't gonna change. Pretty much. What's up, the Wild Jones Report? I mean, it really did. I look at it because I deconstructed it. It's like my wife called the police on me. And then I hear all of these stories of like, that happened to me. I didn't do nothing. And I went to jail. Class. You know, and I didn't really understand it at the time. And then I called the police the second time. Same thing happened. Man, Christian, it was weird because I was asking dude, he wouldn't even talk to me. What's up, Von B? Theodore Cousins. Hell, just your speech patterns can save your ass. Just like your disruptive mail story about the girl not knowing you were black. See, but once again, then we're kind of at odds because then if you speak a certain way, you're an Oreo. This is something else that I found to be very pernicious with this quote community. That anybody that is not authentically black, take it as grew up in the ghetto, had those experiences. If you didn't have those experiences and you didn't grow up in the ghetto, you're not authentically black and you can't speak on black issues. If you have a white partner or Asian partner, whether you're a woman or man, you can't speak on pro-black issues. I'm just sitting there like, in the military, I had this situation where I called Thomas a white boy. And then this Hispanic sergeant, he took me aside and he said, you can't speak like that. Thomas is another soldier, you a soldier. And he put us in a room together. Now, you know, fortunately, I wasn't racist. That was just language I was using. When you're in a situation where you got to depend upon someone else to save your life, you can't be racist. It just doesn't work. And you've seen a lot of people, a lot of white boys from the hills get in the military, and then they find out that all the lies that their mom and dad told them and their grandparents, and you know, Thomas was interesting, and he liked Linda. Thomas, about 6'3", 230-ish. Thompson, 5'2", 120. See, Thompson did the same level of push-ups that we did as the men, and she ran the 2 miles. She did everything the men did, and she did it better. So she was fine. Frank got with Thompson. And he was a hillbilly from Kentucky. But when he saw that, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. And you saw it over and over and over again. And then when the military guys go home with their non-black partner, everybody got something to say. It's very interesting. What's up, Mentor Shelley? What's up, Pamela? I just finished listening to Yvette Car. Who is that? I've heard that name before. Cheddar Bob. Let's see. Roughed up versus shot. Once again, the challenge is name one famous black person who was shot. Don't move the goalpost. And also, here's something else too. Whenever I'm around the police or something, I actually don't really say much. What's your license? Here you are. That's been the extent of it. You got folks here who like, I ain't giving you my license. I ain't doing this. Grandstand and got the camera rolling. Once again, Name one black entertainer, rich, famous person who has been shot by the police. Name one. Google it. You ain't gonna find one. Which proves my point. Money, and I'm gonna tell you how it works. So you got money, and let's say you're busy. Let's take Sean Combs. Sean Combs didn't get in trouble. Remember when he punched one of the coaches at ULCA at his son? As long as he was busy and he was taking limos and stuff, he just really didn't get in a lot of trouble. He did get in that trouble with J-Lo. That was some stuff. It's amazing how often these dudes get in trouble over chicks. It's very interesting. But for the most part, when he's being productive and working, he ain't out in the street. He just doing the things that make money keep you out of trouble. That's another thing. Flex Go was shot by an idiot. That's funny. Pamela C., you got to another point. White people are arrested more and shot more by the police, but the media fails to report it because it does not fit the narrative. Actually, that's part of it, but this is the thing. All major media is literally owned by like 10 to 12 people. NBC, all that stuff. Not too long ago in Texas, this pregnant mother was shot. Pregnant white woman shot by the cops. You heard nothing about it. Because these people who control the media, and this is why blogs, this is why YouTube channels, this is why podcasts take off, because it's real people giving out factual information. You didn't see it. I routinely do, I was doing it before I got super busy, but I would routinely Google and I would see that they'll find this stuff all day long. And it doesn't hit the national news desk because just like the story with Trump and Stormy Daniels that was killed, these stories are killed when they get to the national news desk. Because if white people saw a pregnant mother's body on the ground, they would be more sympathetic to what's going on to black folks, and we can't have that. Many white people are living in silos and they don't know it. They have no clue what's coming for them. Because see, this is the thing with the class. Either you have money or you don't have money. And it ain't going, your white privilege credit card ain't working no more. Hence the reason Trump got elected. It ain't working. And they're just sitting there like, there's something wrong. It worked for my grandfather. It worked for my great grandfather. It worked for my uncles. It's not working for me. Because everybody's got to compete now. You got to compete with your wife. You got to compete with that gay dude, that Indian dude, that black dude. You got to compete with everybody. And there's only so many jobs to go around. What used to be automatically, here you go, Bob. Now it's like, well, Bob, we've got to interview these people. What do you mean you got to interview these people? It's like, I'm white, man. Come on. This is how it go. It's the white. What's up? What's up? Bob, things have changed. What do you mean they've changed? That's like, you got your job. Oh, that's why you married Sharita. I see how it goes. This is the brave new world, and a lot of people are not ready for it. Black Lives Matter is, and this is the thing. People don't even do research because they don't even lie about what they do on their website. You go to their website, you'll see it. Property welfare broke up the black community. That's why I became a conservative. Yeah. Because that's when the black prison rate went up, when the black man was forced out of that family situation. There were more white people in jail in the 60s to 50s to 40s than black. Black folks knew what the deal was. Black folks were straight. Black folks didn't get in trouble. Stuck together. Pretty much. Pamela, see, you peep that. Yeah, this is one of the reasons, once again, for those of you, we're going to see what happens this week. You can still get in. It's 159. It ain't 150, but it's 159 because I had to raise it. When we start talking about the holding company and the things, because see, the thing is, once you set these things up, once you learn the paper game, once you learn the power of skill craft and a finely arranged contract, it could literally change your life. Like right now, y'all know I got a situation. She might know, because I don't know, she watches some of these sometimes, but she hadn't been coming. Maybe she's growing up. I don't know. But the way that the trust reads is that any child that's going to be invested in this has to live with me for 10 years. Now, why did I put that little clause in there? Because of what my ex-wife did. So we get to court. This is why I'm kind of like being free and stuff. We get to court and the judge see that, I will probably automatically get custody. Because that would be in the best interest of the child. See, once again, you must know what the game is to play the game. Many people are playing the game, don't know the rules, don't know when they filed. It's just when they get that hard file, they're bleeding, they're in jail and stuff. It's like, wait a minute. I didn't know this was the rules. Yeah, those are the rules. I mean, I can be living in a multi-million-dollar neighborhood in almost $1 million house. Ain't nothing she can do to me. I'm indigent. This will stand up in court because I'm playing that LLC corporate game and some stuff that I talked about in 2012 on this channel. Keither, you get no stress when you get a ticket. It's freaking peace of mind when you know you can just pay it. You know what's funny? When I was getting tickets, because I used to be a speeder. I really didn't have the resources to be a speeder. I was always getting in trouble. And this is where I learned a lot of these legal tactics. I'll tell y'all how I beat one ticket. It was in DeKalb County. And I was watching this attorney. And the attorney showed up. But the client didn't. And he's like, we want a continuance. And I was like, huh. So I just copied the attorney. And he called my name. I was like, I like a continuance. I'm not ready. Okay. 30 days out. 3 continuances. I went in. The cop had left the force, and they were like, well, yeah, he moved on to another jurisdiction. And the judge was like, dismissed. I was like, oh, this is, but also we're going to talk about how I beat my child support case. And I need to illustrate that because when it happened, I was a YouTuber, right? Well, I had time because our agreement was that I was going to take care of her during the day because I had time. I was making maybe 12 to 15 grand a month pretty passively at that point. Because even though the storage auction stuff had died down, I had money saved. I was like, yeah, I can take care of it. I mean, literally, I was working 2-3 hours a day, if that. So I had plenty of time to raise a kid. So that was the plan. Well, when everything went south, I used that time to go educate myself in the courtroom. Now, once again, this was a factor of wealth, not multi-millions of dollars, but I had income coming in while I was down there watching the court cases, being in the legal library. I still had money coming in. I didn't have to leave my job. I didn't have to lose money to defend myself. That was another consequence of money. That's how I did it. If I was regular dude, I mean, there was times I went down to the Fulton County Courthouse like 4 or 5 times in 1 week. It got to the point the security guards knew who I was. I remember the last time I was down there, she's like, you still ain't got that done? I was like, she ain't trying to be reasonable. I said, Lord. They knew me. I was down there so many times. They thought I worked there. That's how many times I was there. But it would have not been possible if I didn't have my own economics. This is once again when people say, because a lot of guys are brutally raped in family court. They got a job. You can't be up in court 3 and 4 times in 1 week, and maybe you'll get a month where your job is understanding, but after that, it's like, look, man, either you need to decide if you want this job or you want to keep fighting this, because they ain't gonna hold your job. That's how I won, because of economics. I had the economics to fight that for 14 months because I had the time. Time is very, very valuable. Breezy Meadows. I was told by a mentor that his vehicles are under his LLC, and when those cops follow him and run his tag, the look on their faces are priceless. See, they don't want to mess with you because when it's in your name, they know you. But it's a company name, there are resources, and if they're wrong, they could be in trouble because there's resources. Michael Gaynor, that's pretty much how I feel. And I'll say that, people, once again, I got challenged on this. It's like, I have more privilege than most white people. And one was like, what is it? I have the ability to give people jobs. No response to that one either. Yeah, because the thing is, what I'm going to do, like Christian and all you guys who are in the course, I'm going to give you the blueprint to shave off years of stuff that I learned. Because I could have got here probably in 7 years versus, let's see, 1999. Took me about 12-ish, 14. If I knew all of the little steps I should have taken, it would have shaved off 50, maybe 60% of the time. No, he ain't gonna respond. Like if you don't acquire a few haters. Well, what happened? There's another one on there, and there's some other people who were actually engaging with him, and it's a trip. It is true, Ben. It really is. All right, Vaughn B. And Mentor Shelley, and another thing that that we talk about is this is going to take time. Like, let's say you sign up for Hustle Undergrad and you're 20 months. You're going to start small. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, which is cool. That's normal. That's normal. This whole stuff where people just jump clean and make hundreds of millions of dollars straight out the gate, that's a fantasy. Those are unicorns. I know I fell down many times. I made many mistakes. I've even had a few lunches back in the day. No one bought nothing. And I'm thank God I didn't have paid traffic on it. All right, Tyra. Appreciate that. A lot of people miss Obama. A lot of white people. A lot of people who voted for Trump are like, God, I made a mistake. Floyd Mayweather. Mayweather is his own man. Say what you want about him, but he is his own man. He bought his freedom. All right, look at y'all having a conversation up in there. No, freedom isn't free, and a lot of people don't understand that. I know what's going on in Dallas and Houston, those energy cities. I hear y'all didn't even have a recession in Houston during the Great Recession. All right, let's see. What's going on? Man. All right. I'm going to make this bigger so I can get more of the chat in there. All right. Let's see. Man. All right. This is wild. This really jumped. All right, here we go. Sir Nicholas, I'm a business owner because of my pride, nothing else. I'm a business owner because of racism. Most of the country were immigrants. True. Don't know about Blanche Bruce. No, Famon, there's a lot of kids who really can't read. They can't read. Seriously, it's a big problem. They just pass these kids along. Definitely. That's going to be human Earl. That's going to be the next video, reprogramming. I'm going to talk about some things I'm currently doing. Don't know about the real ID. Antonio, what's up? Your message is 100% on time. Michael Watts, Bossman, you saw the story that in the next 20 years that black and Latinos are going to have zero worth. I believe at the lower rungs, that's going to be true. And the reason I believe that's true is look at what's going on now. Right now, times are supposedly good and people don't have any money. People don't have no money saved. The Jews came out of it with the bag. Yes, they did. Asians came out of it with the bag, and Indians are coming out of it with the bag. Pitbull seems to own Miami. Yeah, I always ready 24/7. I see that stuff, and the numbers are just not as great. There's a real disparity, but the thing is, all right, let's go ahead and talk about why are white people becoming poor? Because the number of single mothers are increasing. Single mother parenting is just not a good parenting model because, as my girl says, it's the quickest way to poverty. You have more white women, lesbian couples, no man in the house, having kids, and often the final result is poverty. This is why white women and white people are getting poorer. Because the number, like last time I looked, 42% of the kids in this country were born out of wedlock in 2011. 42%. There's only 22 million black women. There's only like I think 25. I don't know exactly because I haven't looked up the stat. But there's like 22 million black women. I think 25, 27. So that's 50. But there's like 130 million white women. Who's having the most kids out of wedlock? It would be the white women, Alex, for $500. So that's why they're becoming poor. So they're creating these single parent family structures, which limits the income, which limits the resources, and they're creating these self-perpetuating cycles. Same thing that happened to black folks is now happening to white people. That's why when I hear this stuff, I was like, no, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. White people are not replicating at a number to produce themselves, and as a group, they are getting poor, which is why they're freaking out. $285 property, yes, because when I hear the group economics, how many of y'all are Haitians? Haitians practice group economics. Nigerians practice group economics. Cubans, and for the record, many Cubans are black, practice group economics. El Salvadorians, they try. They just have a very poor base. Real Mexicans practice, because most of these Hispanics here are not Mexican. Real Mexicans practice group economics. A lot of brown people practice group economics. And white people are not practicing group economics like they used to. Michael, I would disagree with that. It depends. A lot of Indians come here because they know they can't go up where they are because of the caste system. Donnie, they've been doing that for a long time. I'm referring to the East Asians, Bollywood. And Bollywood is exploding. Bollywood, the things they're doing there. Yeah, I know. because I'm getting ready to do something different with my disruptive mail. Like 30 of my videos are age restricted. It's crazy. Pretty much, Michael. Pretty much. I mean, in Lawrenceville, Georgia, well, Lawrenceville Highway, Georgia, if you're ever in the area, get on Lawrenceville Highway once you leave Tucker and just go look at this church that they built years ago. I had some of those guys come into my warehouse, and it's really interesting how Asian people, Indian people, when they realize you have a business, they talk to you differently. Because they was like, well, hey, yeah, you should come. They invited me to their, whatever it's called. I don't think it's called, I'm not sure what it's called. But sucker's huge. Oh, really? Well, that happens. Always be ready 24/7. Because one of the things is, and one of the reasons I'm talking y'all, and I want to educate y'all, is understand that when someone's telling you you can't do something, they need your attention to make money. I don't need your attention to make money. I'm going to make money regardless. I'm going to make money if you hate me. I'm going to make money if you watch this YouTube channel. Actually, the views of this YouTube channel are pretty low since I've taken the paid traffic off in January. I'm still making money. Because the way that I do it is I try to make money in any way that's possible, because I came out of the consulting model, which cut my income because I knew it wasn't going to be long term. And I just went and started with the basics again. Thank you, big nephew. JP, the Asians move silently with a lot of backers. Asians are building communities in Africa right now. I know, Yolanda. Biggest shout out to Shine, who's now Jewish, which is interesting. Well, a lot of these hoteps are manipulating data because, I want you to really think about it. Regardless of what you do, you're never going to be seen as a full-fledged human being in these United States of America. You know how debilitating that is? One of the things I did, I forgot I was black. I started acting like I wasn't black. It's just Craigslist. I knew this is one reason I didn't send my picture. I was like, I know there's going to be some racism here, but I'm going to still fuck them anyway. One of the things that happens is you get people who they adopt mediocrity as a lifestyle. Because I've never bought into that. Woe is me. I'm always going to be poor. No, I never bought into that. And as a consequence, and also part of this is part of your subconscious mind. So if you're out there believing that because you're black, you're going to be mistreated every step of the way, your subconscious mind is going to make sure that happens. And then you're just going to be very hard for you to progress. Michael Walks, name a bully educated type that's been shot. There's a, yep. It just doesn't happen. But part of the problem is we have so many black folks who come from an underprivileged background, who were raised in the ghetto, who saw friends shot, who saw community ravaged by drugs, HIV. We have a lot of them, and they are scarred. They have post-traumatic stress disorder, and these people need therapy because you can't talk to them. You can't show them. They're going to stick with it. And then more likely they're going to go to their grave, because this is one of the things, the social class that you're born into is usually the one you're going to die into. And what's happening now is becoming harder to change social classes. This is one of the reasons that I work like a maniac, because there is just madness with what happens. Because once you stay on a certain class, you don't elevate your conversation. You don't elevate anything, like rappers in the use of the N-word over and over and over, the repetition. And one of the reasons I hate it is it has negative connotation. I don't care how you say it, who you say it to, it has a negative connotation. So you're saying this negative thing about yourself over and over and over and over and over. It has impact. It has an effect. When the Starbucks people got in trouble, Omega Sci-Fi organized so fast in front of the store. Well, once again, they have money. They have an organization. They have a community. For real, it's the best time for the talented. I used to see white, uneducated folks move up positions they couldn't handle, only they failed big time because their boys put them on. This is what happened here in the city of Atlanta Waterworks. We had a bunch of country boys running it who were not engineers. Shirley Franklin came in, clean house. And, I mean, it was bad. And it was a good old boy network. Yeah, a lot of kids, this is one of, like, how many videos do you see of white millennial kids who are talking about they have all this student loan debt, they're living in cars. They're living in cars, they're living in vans, they're living in RVs because they don't make enough money. They're not creating any asset base. They want to be free. I could just imagine what's going to happen in about 20 years. Beta males, yeah, I saw that too. I was just like, man, I am not even chiming in on this. Thriller, I know NFL player Pat Tillman. He came out to NFL. He joined the military. He was shot by friendly fire. New Orleans Saint Will Smith was shot by road rage. Once again, let me go from the top. Name one black entertainer, successful people that was shot by the cops. Oh, now, yeah, you want to talk about black folks being shot by other than cops? Oh, we can go with Steve McNair, quarterback for the Titans. He was shot in domestic violence. The baseball player in Texas, he was shot by his girlfriend. Yeah. Once again, name someone, famous, athlete, entertainer, pick whatever, who was shot by the cops. I don't know what you're trying to do, Thriller Ali. That's just stupid. All right. Let's see. Did it jump again? Good Lord. All right. So I'm going to shut this down. But for those of you who want to be part of Hustler Undergrad, in response to this conversation I was having, we need more entrepreneurs. We need more people hustling. We need more people grinding. So this is what the school is going to teach you how to do. We're going to break it down. And if you don't need the Hustler Undergrad and you just want the holding companies, and I will tell you, there's a lot of value that's going to be coming in those webinars. A lot. So with that, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.